In this WebEx, we will review the import and export process within the HART application. For this session, it is expected that data has been successfully entered to create a facility, a system administrator ID, a patient, and a HIS record. If you would like to learn more on how to do this, please watch the Login WebEx and the Patient and HIS Record WebEx. The import-export function can only be completed by a system administrator. To begin, I will log in using a system administrator user ID. Select the menu option at the top called Import-Export. We will begin by reviewing the export options. The first option you can choose from is New Export or Previous Export. Let us look at Export Type, New Export first. The new export lists HIS records marked Export Ready. In the Export Path field, you will need to choose the location where you would like to save your exported file. You can either manually type in a destination to save your file, or you can search for a location on your computer by clicking on the Browse button. Enter a name for your export in the Export Name field. You may also provide a description for the HIS records in the Export Description field. The information within the box on the bottom half of the screen displays all HIS records that are in export ready status. You then have a few options at the bottom of the screen. You can use the Select All button to pick all HIS records listed. If you change your mind, you can select the Clear Selection button to uncheck all HIS records. You can also select or unselect the HIS records individually by checking or unchecking the box in front of the HIS record. Once you have chosen the HIS records you wish to export, you can run an error check to validate the selected HIS records. A pop-up window will display the error results. This error check will run the HIS records through the same validation that was ran during the HIS record creation. However, in addition, it will check to make sure the HIS records are still current enough to be accepted. If there is an error, you will need to reopen the HIS record in order to correct the error. To reopen the HIS record, you will need to go to the search screen on the HIS record menu and search for the HIS record with an error. Once you have located the desired HIS record, double-click on the HIS record to open it and make any changes that are necessary. After you have made your corrections, click Save and Validate. If there are no errors on the HIS record, it will move back to Export Ready status, and you may go back to the export screen to continue with the export. After you have validated the HIS record, you can click the Print HIS Record List if you wish to print a list of the HIS records to be included within the export file. Last but not least, you can click on the Export button to zip your files to your chosen destination entered in the Export Path field. Once this process is complete, your files can be submitted. To learn more on how to submit your exported files, please watch the Submission WebEx. If you select Export Type Previous Export, you will see the same fields on the top half of the screen as well as the buttons on the very bottom of the screen that we just discussed with the new export function. Underneath those fields, you will see a box titled Previous Exports. Listed within this box are the names of all the files that have been previously exported. If you click on one of the files, you will see the HIS records that were exported within that file are displayed in the box titled Previous Exported HIS Records. You can select individual HIS records within an export file to re-export by first selecting the export file they were originally exported in and then selecting the HIS records in the previously exported HIS record box, and then clicking on the Export button. You may need or want to re-export a file that was never submitted to the ASAP system. This might be because there was a file processing error, or if the file was deleted from your server prior to submitting to ASAP. Now let's take a look at the import process. You will only be required to use the import process if there are HIS records that were either inadvertently deleted from your database, or you wish to import a HIS record previously created in another vendor software into HART. If you should lose your database, you would be able to contact the help desk, and they will be able to provide you with information to request that the HIS record data that had been previously submitted to the ASAP system to recreate at least portions of your lost database. You will not be able to import data from your existing EHR system or medical records. To start the import process, select the Import/Export menu and select Import. You must first select the location of the HIS records to be imported. You can select the location by either manually typing it into the location field box or by searching for a location on your computer by clicking on the Browse button. The next step is to set your preferences under the Patient Data Options and Miscellaneous Data Options. Under the Patient Data Options, you can request that the system not give you a warning when a new patient is added during import. If you do not check this box, you will receive an error each time a patient is imported. Under the Miscellaneous Data Options, you can choose to have the error check return all warning and error messages, or to only return error messages. Choose to assign all HIS records without errors to an exported status rather than export ready. Or you can choose to have HIS records with a blank assigned facility provider submission ID assigned to the facility selected below. You can either select the options individually by clicking on the box next to each option, or you can select all of the options at once by clicking the Select All button in the bottom left-hand corner. You have the option to run an error check on the HIS records that will be imported by clicking on the Error Check File button located in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, just like you did in the import process. This error check will run the HIS records being imported through the same validation check that would be run on them if you created them in HART. If errors are found, you can search for the HIS records with the errors and make corrections. Then select the Import button. You will then be presented with a pop-up box. If the import failed, the system will tell you that and present you a status report with the reasons for the failure. If the import is complete, an import complete